and welcome to this episode of Joint Failures. Coming up, we've got a lazy review of Uncharted 2.
I'm going to review it, and also we're going to talk about Sherlock Holmes, the movie.
We just seen it.
Yep.
Then we've got an all-new thing versus
Other thing!
Right.
You are 0 for 4 on that.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Joint Failures.
Welcome.
Coming up, we've...
Sorry, I threw that.
All right, here we go. 3, you recording? 3. Damn it, Jeremy. Don't make me laugh, dude. It's 3. Is it too bright? Do we need to turn off one of these lights? Hello, and welcome to this episode of Joint Failures. Coming up, we've got a lazy review of Uncharted 2.
I'm going to review it, and we're also going to talk about Sherlock Holmes,
We just
the
seen
movie.
it.
Yeah,
We just seen it.
Just hours ago now. It was longer because we've recorded the show already.
Yeah, and then coming up also, it's our new segment, Thing versus
Other thing. You really just get funnier every time. I'll do it live.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Joint Failures. Coming up, a lazy man's review of Uncharted 2.
I'm going to review it. Quick one. We're also going to talk about the movie Sherlock Holmes.
We just seen it.
Yep.
And then it's our all-new segment, Thing versus
Other thing! It's okay because I screwed up that one actually because I put my tongue out for the thing that you said.
All right, let's do one more. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Joint Failures. Coming up, a lazy man's review of Uncharted 2.
I'm going to review it lazily. We're also going to talk about Sherlock Holmes.
We just seen it, and
Yep.
it's our all-new segment, Thing versus Other. This time, it's the superhero. That's another
No, we got to do it again.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Joint Failures. Coming up, a lazy man's review of Uncharted 2.
I'm going to review it. Quick one. We're also going to talk about the movie Sherlock Holmes.
We just seen it, and it's our all-new segment, Thing versus
Other thing!
That's right, all in this episode of Joint Failures.
Woo.
It's my show! Joint Failures.
Hello, and welcome to Joint Failures, episode 9. My name is Chris.
And I'm John.
Hey there, John.
Yeah.
How the F are you?
I'm pretty good.
How the F was your holidays?
Good.
Glad you asked. I got a Kindle. What's up? What's up? That's right.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
That was good. I got stuff.
Yeah?
Yep.
What about a video game like Uncharted 2?
Got it.
How was that?
I will tell you what the first 25 minutes are like.
Hold that thought, John. We should tell everybody what's coming up in today's episode.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. So we have got a very quick review on Uncharted 2. You might have guessed that one.
Right.
And then coming up, we just got back from seeing the new Sherlock Holmes movie, and we've got to tell you about that. And then, of course, we got to end on a bang with another Thing versus other thing. Nice.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, how was your Uncharted 2?
Well, I'll tell you.
On the Xbox
we just-
360, John?
No, on
the PlayStation 3, John.
PlayStation 3, it's an exclusive for the PlayStation 3.
Egg on my face.
As you know, we just do first impression reviews here, so I've only played the first 25 minutes, and then I stop, and then I'm going to return it.
Hold on. We don't tell you how it ends like those other guys.
No.
We tell you how it begins.
Right.
The adventure starts
Every story
here.
has a beginning. Listen to it here on Joint Failures.
That's right. All right. So you played the first 25 minutes.
Yeah, and it's kind of heavy on story so far, but it's still obviously going to be a lot of fun.
All right.
Starts off, you're in this train, and it's not in good shape. You're like, hey, guess what?
Is
I'm
it
covered in
moving,
blood. No.
Oh.
No.
Crash.
You're in this train. You're like the only guy on the train. Your hands are covered in blood. And you're like, that's a lot of blood. That's my blood.
Yeah.
Oh, no. And then the train falls, and you're like dangling off a cliff.
What happened? Did somebody take his liver?
Nobody takes his liver that I know of.
Then why is he
yet.
bleeding?
Maybe that's the treasure he's looking for, liver.
Hold on.
It's not explained yet. Let me get to what's going on.
All right.
So it's kind of just an intro tutorial, really, but they do it in a cool way because you're trying to like jump from place to place to climb up off the cliff as this train goes and
I like that.
goes off the cliff, and bad things keep happening. Explosions. They really like to beat up on the hero, which I enjoy. On the parts where you can't control.
Murphy's Law, John.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it could happen, it's going to happen.
Right, and it does to Mr. Drake's fortune in Uncharted 2.
I like when they work in the tutorial as part of the storyline, so it's not just like this thing you have to slog through just to be able to play the game.
Right, and it's not something that I want to do like a million times necessarily, but it's still not that bad. It's still one of the tutorials with a little bit more finesse than some.
How's it look? How's it look?
It looks good. It
Good looking game?
Mm-hmm. It looks good. You get a little bit of the uncanny valley with the face just a little bit still, like still looks a little bit creepy, but not too bad.
Yeah, it's getting closer, but it's still in the creepy stage.
But you're not looking at his face most of the time. You're looking around in your environment, so that's fine. It's a kind of jump, figure out some puzzles. There's some stealth stuff to it.
Ooh.
Shooting, treasure hunting.
How is the shooting mechanics?
Good from what I've seen. I haven't gotten too much into it because I'm only about, like I said, 25 minutes in, and a lot of it's story. So
How many people have you killed in the first 25 minutes?
I have incapacitated probably about 6 or 7.
But not killed anybody?
I don't think so. Well, maybe one guy.
Huh.
Maybe. But the way it's telling the story is kind of good. And it's one of the things I've heard about the game is that the story is a lot of fun. So you're doing some treasure hunting, and when you finally get up, onto the cliff for the first time from the train, you pass out because you're cold. It's freezing. You're on a mountain and you're bleeding, and then you have kind of like a memory of what's getting you to this point.
So cliffhanger, Sylvester Stallone didn't pass out when he was cold. It was
Right.
a little callback from last episode.
Right. But he hadn't been seriously injured from.
No, he just been blown
from
up.
a train, not from a
shot at.
train, Chris.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know what his day was like before
Anyway,
he
we
got to
all
the
know
mountain.
that you conceded that Rocky IV was a better movie, so there's really no point to this discussion. So anyway, yeah, it's kind of cool just watching. So you kind of play through some flashbacks and kind of see where you're going, and the story's already intriguing to me. You're trying to find some stuff, these sunken ships filled with treasure that Monte Carlo lost, or
I
something
like
like
that.
So and
Do you go underwater?
I haven't yet. I've been in the sewers, which is kind of standard now. If you're doing some break-ins, so I'm breaking into a museum, which you do early.
You go up through the sewers.
So it's kind of like it's a treasure hunting game. Which
Okay.
is kind of like along. I don't want to say Tomb Raider, but there are elements of that. There's jumping and there's some shooting, but it's definitely a more thoughtful game. It looks well. It's everything's really slick so far.
That sounds fun.
It is kind of fun. There's a multiplayer aspect which I have not checked out in my 25 minutes. I doubt that it's a full multiplayer experience because it's really a single player game.
Gotcha.
But it's fun so far.
All right. I kind of want it.
Yeah,
I've been,
I'll show it to you.
I have toyed on and off with the idea of like a GameFly membership.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about doing it, but
Yeah, well, you were nice enough to get one for me, and I enjoyed it. But
There you
I
have
did
it.
let it expire because I didn't have as much time to play games.
that's what I keep running into. All right. So we just got back from Sherlock Holmes, like I mentioned, and I decided I got this Amazon Kindle right here. You might have heard it was a Christmas present.
What?
And I know.
What?
So I've downloaded. There's a
Man,
couple
you're one of the first.
groundbreaking. I know. Groundbreaking.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I
Innovate.
got one in November.
Oh, I lose. So I got a couple free
Cliffhanger.
Sherlock Holmes books
Right.
on here, and I haven't read them yet. I decided to wait for the movie, so that way I thought maybe.
That way you can picture Sherlock Holmes as Robert Downey Jr. and Watson as Jude Law. Right. Okay.
So you,
Fair enough.
though, flip side, have read.
I have read all of them, but although not for a number of years. I just
But a
had
fan.
big. Yeah. I like some of them are better mysteries than others. Just some of them I don't think age as well, but no, they're pretty fun to read.
So, Mr. Uncles,
Yes,
what did you think of the movie?
I enjoyed the movie. I did enjoy the movie. It's not really what I remembered from Sherlock Holmes. I mean, it definitely is more of an action movie than anything else.
I was going to ask you about that. Like, there's some scenes where he's chasing, he's running, he's fighting. Was there much
Right.
fighting in the book?
Not that I remember. I'm sure there was some, but
Because the fighting was a big part of this movie.
yeah, it was, and they call like Sherlock Holmes like one of the first martial artists, or whatever, just because he studies moves and stuff. But I don't. It's not to say it's not in the book, because like I said, it's been a number, and I just kind of like plowed through them, enjoying them. But no, it was definitely more of a thoughtful.
But I liked,
Procedural.
so they added combat in the movie. But I liked that they approached it from Sherlock Holmes looks at the human body as like kind of like this math equation and breaks down. Okay, first if I strike him here, then strike him here, then strike him here.
Evaluates their weaknesses and breaks down.
And they do it in kind of like a cool storytelling way where they kind of do a slow-mo, fast game, shwoom, and then they pause and slow down and they do things, shwoom,
Right.
and they move around.
before it actually happens. So he pictures everything before it happens, which is kind of cool. And you can kind of see that in the previews a little bit.
I like that. I like that. If you're going to add fighting, I think that's a good way to go. I mean,
Yep.
Robert Downey Jr. definitely got kind of buffed up for this movie. Like,
Right,
I mean,
right.
he's a piece of man meat now.
You couldn't take your eyes off of him.
So you better be ready for that. And you figure he is Iron Man, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Now his abs are like iron.
There he is, the Iron Man.
Right.
I thought the whole thing was really well. I liked Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes. I was worried the accent, I wasn't going to buy it. I was worried that whole. I bought it just fine.
I was happy enough.
I thought it worked fine.
Yeah, I was happy
It
enough
took
with
me about two lines, and I was comfortable. I liked Watson. I thought that it was good. They didn't go like the bubbling buffoon route where he's just Holmes, and he's like falling all over himself.
Just like the books.
Is that how he is in the books?
No, not at all. No, he's like a...
Well, have you seen like the old 40s TV series? Or no, old 40s movies?
No.
Yeah, in the movie, I think it was in
He's
the
a
40s.
buffoon?
He's a buffoon, yeah.
Well, in the books, he's still really smart, but he's nothing compared to Holmes. But Holmes is supposed to be far superior to everybody.
Well, that's what they kind of implied in this movie, though. I mean, they didn't talk down, they didn't play down his character.
Right. And Watson's kind of like in awe of Holmes in the books is kind of
I kind of got a little bit
how
of
I
that.
got, and he's learning. And in the movie, they kind of show that just a little bit. There's like a scene with the watch where Watson kind of notes his observations with stuff on the watch, and that is like the books. So he's learning, but he's not at Holmes' level. And I think even in the books, there's some parts where Holmes is like, "Good job," but no.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, in the 40s movie series, Holmes is mostly just pokes fun of Watson the entire time.
Nice.
He's a little rough on him.
Yeah.
And I thought that might be the situation here, but no, the dynamic worked well. I did not like the main Moriarty guy, and I did not like his main sidekick guy.
Moriarty, but you don't see Moriarty in it, really. I mean, you do technically, but he's not really a main character. He's just kind of in the background a little bit. How do you not like him? You've never even met the guy.
I don't mean Moriarty. I mean the guy that was Moriarty's right-hand man.
Okay, you didn't like the villain then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not like him because I felt like he was an actor playing a role.
Okay.
I just like Sherlock. I bought Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock and what's Jude Law as Watson, but I didn't buy that guy. He felt like an actor to me, and also
Mark Strong, I think is the actor's name.
guy's right-hand man felt like an actor to me.
Okay.
Did you not get that?
I didn't really get that too much. I mean, he needed like some kind of foil, and he was in it, but he was kind of background in a lot of cases, or just like quick scenes. So it didn't really bother me that much. I thought that they did stuff like they gave him like a weird looking tooth, so we'd know it was him, which is kind of weird.
Is the exposition that they do where they kind of explain the whole thing, is that common in the book? I kind of felt like that was a book thing.
That's part of the the fun of it, like figuring out how Sherlock Holmes
figured it out.
Yeah. So the
movie does a great job of at a couple of points you're not sure if Sherlock Holmes is on top of it, and then by the end of the situation they kind of show you how Sherlock kind of always knew it was
right, and
they
give you the flashbacks of the movie so you can see where he figured it out, which is nice. So you're not just like, I don't remember that part.
But there's a scene where he jumps out a window and like you could tell at that point like this whole entire time the whole thing was planned.
Yeah.
And that's like, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool because first you think, they got him.
No, he's really smart.
Yeah.
He's really smart. His cocaine habit is not as prevalent in...
I was going to ask you, was the drinking a substitute for the harder drugs that I heard?
Maybe. In the books, he does it just more of a challenge than anything else, to challenge himself.
And he was drinking like medications instead of like booze. Like, remember, he's like, that thing's, for eye operations.
Yeah.
But...
I don't remember him drinking. That's not to say he didn't. He might
think they
be
just
drinking
used it as a substitute.
But they do talk about the cocaine use.
He probably wasn't comfortable using. They probably weren't comfortable showing him as a cocaine user, so they went.
I know there's one of the stories he goes into like an opium den, and I think I'm pretty sure he smokes opium in the book. So he's kind of hardcore.
Sherlock,
Mr. Sherlock.
Now
opens his mind.
So, what did you think overall is the story?
I liked it. I liked it.
Was it a Sherlock Holmes-esque story?
It was with obviously they kicked it up a notch. They added all the action elements.
They had a little bam.
It was an action movie with Sherlock Holmes elements is what it was, which I was okay with. I mean, I'm not some kind of like hardcore Sherlock Holmes guy where I'm going to be offended if they change it. I like it, and I like that they kind of left themselves open for a sequel in a nice way. And I hope that in the books, Moriarty is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle brought Moriarty in because he was tired of Holmes and he wanted to kill Holmes. So he tried to with Moriarty, and then fans demanded he bring him back. So he eventually brings Sherlock Holmes back.
Interesting. So he was just done writing.
What?
He was just tired.
He was done writing when he created Moriarty.
Wow.
But Moriarty is like Sherlock Holmes' foil, and he's totally background. You don't really realize, but Holmes is like, I've known there's a force behind things for a long time, and you're it. And like when he meets Moriarty, Moriarty says something about like his head. They're talking like phrenology, like, oh, your forehead's not as big as I thought it would be.
Really,
the whole old science about intelligence with the shape of your head.
Right. That's
kind of fun.
Because that was real. That was still considered real science back then.
I think
it
was. Yeah. Kind of funny.
Now, should we talk about our little failure of our own movie review failure?
Yeah. And I'm gonna put the blame kind of on you, but me for following you. Because when we got our tickets, the guy's like, it's your second theater on your left. So we went in to the first. We didn't realize it was the first theater
on our right.
Which happened to be
it was on our right.
No, it's on our left.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, remember?
No.
You walk in and you turn left. This is your left. Hello.
I know.
Hand failure. Yeah, we
right.
turned left, and it was the first one on our left, and it was playing Sherlock Holmes, and it was playing the last 5 minutes of Sherlock Holmes.
And we thought we were late. Well, we were late.
3 minutes. We were 3 minutes. I'm
late.
like, I was like, really? The previews are done already?
Yeah.
So we sit down
That's
with the
what I thought,
popcorn. Theater was packed.
And we're like mid-story, and we're like, what's going on?
Yeah. So we cut the last 5 minutes, and then like just before, I'm like, you know what? This is the first one. I run outside, check the other theater. I'm like, yeah, that's Sherlock Holmes 2. I run back inside, and the credits are going, and people are starting to walk out of theaters, and Chris is like, thinking it's the intro credits.
I thought it was the intro credits, but I started getting like this sinking suspicion. I'm like, I think we might not. And I thought you got up to go to the bathroom when you went to go check on the other theater. So I'm like, where's John? I think we might be in the wrong theater.
No.
And I was like, oh, hang tight. I'm like, this is either a really awkward intro,
Right.
and then just as you got in, everybody was getting up.
Right,
And
right.
I thought, and my first thought was, this is an interesting take on an intro. Is this an intro?
Like, so many people are going to the bathroom
I
right
was
now.
kind of Sherlock Holmesy on my own. I started putting it
Right,
together, and then
yeah.
you showed up. And
Yeah, and this is probably the only instance where I've been like 30 seconds ahead of you in thought, I think. So,
I think it's pretty funny.
yeah. So we went in, we're able to watch all the previews still in the other, or at least most of the previews in the other one we were supposed to be at.
Yeah, it
And,
worked out great.
yeah.
Except for ruining the ending.
Yeah.
Because we
really
did see the ending.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked. But it was still
So
a
that's
fun
what happened to the bad guy, and that's how he did
It's
it.
not about the destination, guys.
Right.
It's about the journey.
So what we should have done is we should have been really vocal about what really happened in the theater, so we would have seen
Like that one
geniuses.
gal was. There's always that one person,
Yeah.
at least, in the theater who's got to vocalize what they're thinking.
Right.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, something happened, and the guy's like, "Don't be scared," and she's like, "Don't be scared after what you just did."
That poor dog. I'm like,
Yeah.
really, lady?
Yeah.
Really? And then some dude sitting behind us kept coughing on me.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Oh, like I can feel it. And then the sneezes started, dude. I'm like sitting there freaking. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get sick. I'm going to get sick. This sucks. And I'm like, and then I'm like, oh no, what am I so worried about? There's nothing. And then sneeze. Broad right side past my head. Just shrapnel sneeze everywhere. It was
Totally
awful.
missed it. I was fine, sheltered.
Got right in the
Engaged in the
popcorn,
story.
which I was in mid. No, I'm kidding. On that
Yeah.
part.
So Rachel McAdams is in it too. She's very pretty.
Rachel McAdams did a great job
As
and
Irene Adler, who is the
She's in my
feminine
heart.
foil for Sherlock Holmes, also featured in the book a little bit, maybe a couple
And they
times.
had a
I
good
think.
dynamic, and they did a great job of making her seem like she was
Yeah.
really on her own.
She's really pretty, but like her eyes, something about her eyes, she seems like she just might be a little bit crazy to me.
yeah,
You get that?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, she sets off the crazy dar like
Like not
nothing.
just in this show, not just
No, in real life,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
a crazy actress.
Yeah, I'm very pretty, and look, I'm dangerous.
You know what the crazy ones do in the sack?
Yes,
Just saying.
they stab you.
They stab you and cut off your
Yeah.
wiener. All right. So, anything else you want to comment on Sherlock Holmes before we move on?
No, I'd recommend it. I think it's a good with the action. I'd say it's fun to see in the theater.
What about? There's a couple of crazy slow mo moments where normally you'd see the results of something, but they put you in the middle of it. Like there's one other one that I'm not remembering at the moment, but there's that explosion. Like you're inside the explosion.
Yes,
That
it's
was
fun.
really good. And
Directed
there
by
was,
Guy Ritchie, who's had some failures of his own, but he's also had like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, which has been fun. And,
do you remember the other scene I'm talking
Swept
about?
Away with Madonna, which is a great film.
Snatch.
No, it's not.
Do you remember that other scene I'm
Snatch.
talking about? Where there was one like the explosion where you're kind of like in it.
Yeah, the one on the dock, or the other one.
There's another scene besides the
Yeah,
explosion.
there's a lot of explosions.
Well, and they do a great job. There is a new take on that kind of
Right.
format. All right. So,
fun.
should we move on?
Let's move on.
All right, guys. It's time for Thing versus Other Thing.
You're supposed to look at me like we did before.
Oh.
Well, hello there, Joint Failures viewer. Now, I've got some good news. I've got some bad news. Of course, if you're seeing this, it's probably going to be bad news because it's not the regular show. So I guess that didn't really need to be said. First thing is we lost the last part of the episode. The Thing versus Other Thing is gone. What happened is I mean, how do you plan for this? Darth Vader breaks in, attacks the recorder, destroys it. Now, I stopped Darth Vader. Darth Vader's done. He's dead. I don't know what those Luke Skywalker and those Force guys, their problem, it was easy. Not a problem for me at all. Guy is totally dead. All right. So that's been taken care of, but you don't have Thing versus Other Thing. But to make it up for you, I have a completely unrelated clip of Santa Claus dancing in front of shiny light things.